mob stuff know of the Giannini crew, but kind of the
Sure,
mainstream mob people that are into it, and obviously mainstream media know very little, right? So you hear about the Bath Avenue, you hear about the 20th Street, you hear about the Tanglewood, but you don't hear a lot
sure.
about the Giannini crew. Giannini crew was different because multiple families and pretty big numbers. What was a peak size, in your opinion, of the Giannini crew?
I said shooters wise, anywhere from 15 to 20 to shoot you.
Wow.
Okay, as far as associates of our friends, and we were three groups. I'd say probably close to 40. Another thing too, people compare this and that. People say, well, their families were involved, and other crews. I'm not going to mention who. Their families wasn't involved. We had to do everything ourselves. There'll never be another Vito Guzzo in the 1990s. After 1990, you could say, yeah, his father was who he was, but I'll tell you what, none of them had anybody as tough as that kid did. Okay, he's doing a fucking century, half a century in jail. Got shot 11 fucking times. Okay, if he was after you, he'd get you. All right. So he was probably, and I knew him. He was probably one of the toughest guys I grew up with. And I'm not saying there wasn't tough guys anywhere else, but when we talk about just because our families was part of something, that mean we got free passes all the time. I came close to emptying, filling up a fucking trunk, and so did most of my friends too. Don't get that fucked up.
Now, with Vito Guzzo specifically, my research showed that his father went hunting, was killed allegedly because he was having some nervous breakdown, allegedly, and then in kind of like almost a movie type hit, Vito Guzzo got his revenge against Vinny Unions, shot him and a few other people. Did he kill anybody in that hit or no?
Yeah, some guy Messi died. Mesi. He died at that hit. And we talk about what made him so freaking unique. So he basically got the information from that hit from his mentor who had died, this Dennis Gazzardo. I mean, this is what kind of fucking balls this guy had. He does the hit, goes home, because they were going to the funeral. They were going to Dennis's funeral. Yeah. Goes home, gets changed, and then goes to the funeral like nothing happened. So you tell me which farm team had someone like that in it.
So one thing I never understood.
Oh yeah, the guy was made. He shot at too.
That's what I don't get. He hit him. Almost killed a maid guy. Avenged his father's death. Goes to jail. And then allegedly gets made in prison. I don't know if that's true or not, but alleged by multiple sources.
I don't know that.
But you've been around some hardcore guys, and why do you think they didn't seek revenge from him from almost killing Vinny Unions?
I personally, I think this. I speculate on this. I speculated on this already. I think it's because I honestly felt that the other guy was in a reign of loyalists, and he probably was on the outs with the Persicos, and somebody must have gave him a tip. Look, do whatever you got to do. Nobody's going to miss him. That's what I think. I could be wrong.
All right. I want to go through some of the key members of the Giannini crew.
Sure.
In the blue jacket, and I forgive the fuzziness, but Fabio Bartolotta, guy in the blue jacket. Who was Fabio?
Fabio was his mom was arrested in a heroin case.
She did
4 years. His mother, yeah. His granddads both died. No. One of his granddads died in prison. Both his granddads were in prison at one time. He's the nephew of Paul Ragusa, and his dad did 15 years as well. He grew up all, in one of those tentacles of the Pizza Connection case.
Now, where did Fabio end up? Did he roll, or did he?
He rolled. Yes, he rolled. He got into a little bit of a problem. They were looking to stick a needle in his arm. Okay.
Wow.
So he had 5 bodies, and he was one of. They asked me sometimes who was the most surprising guy that flipped that when somebody flipped.
Yeah.
And I would have to say him because of his family's pedigree. If you know the rest of the family, they're hard. They're not fucking. They're not. So that was some. I grew up with the uncle Paul, and no way in the world he'd ever flip. I could bet that. I would have bet it all that. But
who did he flip against? Do you remember?
Shit, a lot of people. Okay. A lot of people. his friends, anybody that were involved in anything with him, flipped on me. But look where I'm at, so that don't matter anymore. But he also flipped on people in my family, and that, whatever, it just happens. I can't be saying who flipped on who, whatever.
Got it.
When I did it myself.
Anthony Tabita.
Yes, Anthony's also part of that clique. Anthony was also a shooter. Little hot tempered. People have asked me before, who does Gene Barella remind you of? Anthony definitely. And same kind of attitude, same kind of I don't care, and And Anthony was he also flipped as well.
And why
you got to remember, these kids were looking to put needles in their arms.
Yeah. No, it happens, right? I mean, now, this was actually like a friend and mentor of yours. Who's this?
Family friend, mostly, not a mentor. That was Baldo Amato.
Okay. Now,
we know who he is. He's the bodyguard in that Galante.
And describe your relationship with him on the street.
It was like family when we were early on, and then as we got older, it was more like, people from the same town. It wasn't cold. It was okay. I worked for him, but it was what it was. In a criminal aspect, I worked in his coffee shop.
Yeah. Well, the stories make them out to be, they glamorize it a little bit. There's your mentor and all that kind of
stuff.
I
heard that shit too, that's one guy I didn't want to flip on. I didn't want to sit on, but the government said, hey, you're up next again. This is after the Messino case. And